Today's a special day because on October 24th in 1952, my parents moved into this house in Springfield, New Jersey. So what we thought we would do is, of course, there's nobody better to tell you about the history of the house and some stories inside than your favorite Beatrice Slater. So Mom, 68 years. What are your memories of finding this house?
Well, we were looking to buy a house. We were living in an apartment in East Orange. And we were having dinner at the Tavern Restaurant in Newark, which I'm sure some of the old timers will remember, on Warwick Avenue. Sam Teeger was the owner. It was a great restaurant. And first we saw an ad for a house in Springfield, and we got very excited because we wanted to live in this area. But by the time we called the realtor, it had been sold because they hadn't built too many houses. It was after the war. So anyway, we found this house, and we went around and we met the builders. There were two builders that built this house. A man named DeMeo and a man named Becker, an Italian man and a Jewish man. And the house had been on the market for a year and a half, and they hadn't been able to sell it. It was listed for $26,500, and they had to lower the price, and they lowered it to $23,500. And that's what we paid for our house on Warwick Circle, number 20.
Okay.
And we've lived in this house all those years. We thought about moving, when I was pregnant with my third child, the one that's filming this right now, Mitchell. And we said, well, let's look around. We need a little bigger house. And we went around and we looked at some houses, and some were new, some were old, and some in Millburn, Short Hills, the area. And we came back and we said, you know what? We've got a very good carpenter in Springfield, George Mencken, and we had a very good architect from New York. And we spoke to him, the both of them, and they said they could take care of it. And they would design whatever we want. And although the property in the front is small, and it looks small, the back is big. We have a lot of land in the back. We had way over, I think, an acre.
So you've lived on this street, it's called Warwick Circle, for 68 years.
That's right.
I would imagine there's some stories. So why don't you think of maybe 3 stories that stand out over the last 68 years, besides the fire trucks and everybody coming for your birthday this year?
Well, it was a great street. First of all, there were a lot of children, and there weren't sidewalks, so they did have to play in the street, but there were not a lot of cars coming through, and we made sure that the town put up a sign to watch for children, which I think is still there, or at least one just like it, that my husband, I think, took care of that. And we had wonderful neighbors. We always had lovely neighbors, and it was really a very nice atmosphere. But we did have some excitement. We did have somebody rob a bank, and it was on the morning that the same man was driving my son to school with his son. Of course, we didn't know after he left him at school, he went and robbed the bank.
That would be my brother Jeffrey, who was part of that. I was not in on that bank job.
Right,
yeah.
That's right. And then
Did they catch him?
They caught him. They said he wanted to be caught because he robbed a few banks, and they had a sketch of him in the paper. He didn't look like the man that we knew, but that's who it was. He did go to jail. He paid the price, and when he got out of jail, he did come to visit to say hello and, thanked us for whatever. Anyway, that was exciting. And then the Governor McCreevy, when he divorced his wife, or she divorced him, she moved on this street into a house that belonged to a relative of my mother-in-law. She lived here for quite a while and finally moved away. And let's see, what else?
Well, when I look at the window of the kitchen, I remember being maybe 8 or 9 years old in a Halloween and something, or it was the night before Halloween, Mischief Night.
Mischief Night. Yeah, we had a nice little boy, wasn't so nice. he took eggs and he threw them at the window. And the next day was my daughter's birthday, Diane, the one we moved in with when she was going to be 2. And I said, oh my God, look what he did. And it was such a mess. And we knew it was him. We knew he did it. But unfortunately, nothing you could do about it. We cleaned the windows. And were out of the house. We weren't home because for some reason we were in the Chinese restaurant at the China Sky with Jack Chin, which was a wonderful restaurant. And the people who will see this that live in the town will remember up at the General Green Shopping Center. And because before holidays and things, I never really cooked, and Halloween was a hard night because the kids wanted to be out. Well, anyway, we took care of that. But that was a mess. And Mischief Night, kids used to come around. They don't do it now. I think there was a stop put on that. But we always worried,
right.
They would mark your car and do things like that.
Will you be kind enough to give us a little tour of the house? Maybe show a little bit of a few of the highlights?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not everybody has a house that they've been in for 68 years, so we should celebrate the house.
A long time.
Because of the pandemic, you're spending a lot of extra time in this house this year. So tell me about this entranceway here.
It was always like this. It was never anything different. We did alterations in the back to enlarge the house, but the front stayed the same. The front stayed the same.
Except you had no picture with Bruce Springsteen back then.
No, I met him just a couple years ago, and that was very exciting. But I come from a line of photographers in my family.
I noticed a lot of photographs. There you are with Steve Van Zandt.
We have a lot of pictures.
And I also noticed a lot of books.
Oh, yeah. My husband was quite a reader, and so was his father, and so was his brother.
And these are all books by my late uncle, Robert Slater.
My brother-in-law, Robert. Yeah.
And his wife, Ellie, who also wrote.
And unfortunately, Robbie left us. I think it's 4 or 5 years.
Way too early. So let's just walk. This is in the dining room, and I know for many years you had lots of celebrations, but before we get to the dining room, there's a little drawer that I think you should show people, because this has become, and you see, of course, all the beautiful family photos here, but tell me about this drawer.
Well, this is my candy department. And my great-grandchildren, before they walk in and kiss me, they go to the candy drawer. And even my older children and everybody else. Everybody loves it.
We all do, Mom. We all go there first.
My mother always had a little thing of candy out. And my mother-in-law always had something, but I don't think like this. But this I enjoy. And I always have candy.
Okay. So let's go into this room, which... Back in
This room was not here.
Right. Okay.
When we moved here, if you can see, there was like a slab of cement. It was like a little patio, and I could put, my second child was already in a carriage, and we could put him out here during the day. And then that was all. There was nothing, just the outside. We didn't have the deck.
And I noticed a lot of photos on the wall.
My husband had a wonderful idea, and every year, he started when our first grandchild was born, Jamie, and he would make a collage of everything that happened during that particular year.
This is actually the first one. This was from 1976.
Jamie was born.
Right.
And that's not Paris. That's Mitchell.
That's me.
And Jeffrey, and Diane,
I was a 16-year-old uncle.
Yeah.
About to be a 60-year-old
and we
uncle.
Called him. He called from high school to find out was she born? Was a baby born? I said yes. He was so excited.
So tell me about this room. Obviously, there are a lot of memories. There were birthday parties because it wasn't finished like this.
No.
Why did you and Dad decide to go for the safari look? Because you don't see it, but there was a zebra skin on the back wall for many years. The rug, too.
The rug was
right.
a leopard.
Right.
And I don't know, we had this wonderful...
You guys were not hunters, and you did not support people who were hunting, but you certainly had a room that looked like a safari.
Yeah, it was like a safari, and And the decorator, Mr. Mayerson, I think he came up with the idea, and Daddy said, you know, that sounds good. And it was great. It was completely different. And then we put on the deck outside. And then we decided, well, the carpet needed to be changed, and we took the zebra off the wall.
So when you moved in here in 1952, obviously television was just starting out, and you didn't have a flat screen back then,
No.
but you watched a lot of television in this room. Are there any memories of being in this room that kind of really?
Oh, of course, November 22nd, that Friday when our dear Kennedy was shot and killed. That weekend, we all sat in this room, glued to the television, because that's all you had. And oh my God, it was so sad. It really was. But we have a funny story with it, not because of anything special, except that the next day when they arrested Oswald, and Jack Ruby was standing next to him and pulled out the gun and killed him, I was in the bathroom. And my husband kept yelling, "B, come out of the bathroom, come out of the bathroom." And they all laughed at me. I missed that. Of course, I think they did have reruns.
It's been shown a few times.
Yeah,
so that was 1963.
Yeah.
1969 was a pretty amazing year.
Oh, yeah.
What did you watch on the television
we
then?
watched The Man Landing on the Moon.
Oh, I was talking about the Mets winning the World Series.
Oh, the world. Oh,
sure, we landed on the moon, but
the moon. I forgot. It's the Mets. It's the Mets.
Yes.
My favorite team, the Mets.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
Right.
And we were glued to a television, not this one, and not the way they are today. The television with you can do the reruns.
I'm just showing everybody these wonderful pictures. I mean, we've been very fortunate to be in a family where we have lots of pictures, and it's me in high school. That's President Reagan holding my brother and sister-in-law's brownie, me with President Carter, lots of pictures of my sister, and of course my nieces, my nephews, my kids, my great nieces and nephews, my wife. Everybody is in there somewhere.
Keith Hernandez.
And yes, Keith Hernandez also is on the wall.
It's an autographed picture.
That was a gift you got for your 90th.
That's right.
So, speaking of pictures, before we end, take us to one other area of the house where there's a lot of photos.
Oh, well, before I say that, I want to say something, and I'm not trying to be political or anything like that, but I watched that wonderful show with President Obama and the photographer that took the pictures.
Pete Souza.
Yeah, for 8 years while he was in the White House. And he took the most beautiful pictures and classified everything. And there was a hallway, I don't know where it is in the White House, I guess maybe near the West Wing, and that's where they hung these pictures. Well, we don't have a West Wing, but we have a hallway, and we have pictures. And this is what we had. These are wrote with my husband. I helped him with some, but most he did. And my father helped with some, and I think my sister. And we would every year. Now, this is
Each year's different memories. Pick one year. Yeah.
1992. My daughter, they bought a house.
Our first dog, Leela.
Yeah, and that was Leela, the first. So that was probably birthday or an anniversary.
Right.
And
lots of pictures, lots of beautiful memories. The house goes all the way around to the right and then all the way back to the left, and there's so much there. So, Mom, anything in closing that you'd like to say after 68 years? Certainly you are the longest on the street. You've been here, not just the oldest, but you've lived here the most.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think there's anyone else that is here quite as long. But I will say that there were very wonderful memories. There were happy ones, and of course, naturally, there were sad ones. But I like to dwell on the happy ones because it makes me happy. And I know my children have all loved this house, and they've always said, "Don't sell." When my husband passed away, no, you can't leave the house. I said, no, I really don't want to. I mean, you know, I'm not so young anymore, but I'm trying hard to keep up and just stay the way it is, and just remember all the nice things, the children roller skating, you don't even see that anymore, and riding bikes, and the sleds and the snowstorms, and the parties and all the birthday parties.
Mostly the memories that just
Those are
stay
the
in this
memories.
house. And to quote your friend Bruce Springsteen, the older you get, the more it means.
Yes, it's true. And you never forget memories.
Right.
They stay with you, and thank goodness my mind is still working.
Well, thank everybody for watching.
I hope everyone who sees it will enjoy it, and it's just the memories, and it's whoever thought I would live this long in one house, never dreamed, but I guess it was meant to be. So God bless you all, and God bless you, Mitchell, for doing this. I do appreciate it, and it was fun. So, and I'm going to say one more thing, and go vote, and vote for Joe Biden, please. Thank you.